Hello. Today we're going to be talking about physical versus chemical change. And at first it might seem like a lot, but basically it's just repetition. And as we go through more examples, you're going to get the hang of it. It's pretty easy. Here's your homework, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. All right, so let's imagine you have a brand new car. If you crash the car would be dented, like this. If the dent was left untreated for a while, it would start to rust, like this one. Is there a difference between a dent in the metal and rusting metal? That's what we're going to talk about. So, we learned in the last lesson that a physical change changes the object's appearance, but not the chemical makeup. So, the object is still the same. So, that would be like if I were to slice apples, it's still an apple, it's just a different shape, right? Or if I were to crumble paper, it's still paper, it's just crumbled. Or if I were to boil water or freeze water, it's still water, it's just in a different state of matter. So I still have, in a physical change, you still have the original object, it's still the same thing. And we talked about the properties of physical change yesterday, like the texture, the shape, the size, the color, state of matter, so on. Okay? So a physical change is like if I rip the paper, it would still be paper. If I cut the grass, it's still grass. If I cut my hair, I still have my hair, it's just a different length. Right? Now let's talk about chemical change. In a chemical change, a new substance is created. Sometimes it's one, sometimes it's multiple new substances. You don't have the same product that you started with. The new substance is different from the original, and you can't get the original back because the chemical makeup has changed. So it has properties that are different from those of the starting materials. We talked about properties of chemicals yesterday: changing color, bubbling, fizzing, light production, smoke, heat. Fireworks would be an example of a chemical change. Anything that is on fire is an example of chemical change. One other thing you should know is that oxygen can cause chemical changes. In the process called oxidation, we talked about this in our weathering and erosion unit. So when oxygen in the air reacts, it can react with enzymes, in this case in fruit, and alter the chemical composition of the fruit. So when you cut an apple, that is a physical property. But if I leave that apple out and it starts to brown, that browning that you see on the apple, that's a chemical change. I can't wipe my finger across it and it won't be brown anymore. That part of the apple that was exposed to oxygen has oxidized. That is a chemical change. The same thing with the outside of these bananas. So I can't go back to the yellowness or even the greenness of the banana. A chemical change has happened, right? When you've all seen the reaction of vinegar and baking soda when you're making volcanoes or when you're trying to blow up a balloon without actually blowing into it, that is a chemical change. The baking soda and the vinegar react, and you see that bubbling and you hear the fizzing, and carbon dioxide is being created inside the balloon. That's what blows up the balloon. So here's some other chemical changes. When you cook, when I cook an egg, I can't go back to this raw egg. Anytime I add fire or heat, a chemical change has occurred. When I bake a cake or when I'm baking cookies, I can't get this back. As soon as I add that heat to it, a new substance has formed. Now I told you when you crumble paper or you rip paper, that's a physical change. But if I burn paper and I get that ash, like this, I can't get the original paper back. That is a chemical change. Striking a match is a chemical change. So that means when we're talking about a car, the dent in the car was a physical change. I just changed the shape of the car. But the rust on the car, that is a chemical change. That's oxidation. All right. So here is a video from my graduate school days on chemical change. So you can watch that video. And here is a video on BrainPop that you can watch. Now let's go back to the homework. So here's a sorting activity that you can do. All you need to do is drag and drop into the proper areas. I think we've done that before. And here are some short videos. Just click on them and write what type of change you see. All right, that's it for today. Have a good day.